wanted, the topic of this forum today is around engagement. You know, it was great for me to watch the faces that people, my test was hardly anybody was looking down at their phone, right? Everybody was actually watching, which is what you want. You want to have content that invites people in and want to be part of the conversation. So picked a whole diverse slate of people that come from different experiences. You may not love every story, but there's probably one of those 7 that you find interesting.
I think all of us have kind of new goals that we need to address for a variety of different reasons. I think there's the enormity of the change in the media landscape. I think the millennials are on the scene. And really what it does is there's just a demand for transparency that was never there before. There's a demand for narratives about purpose, corporate missions that were not as imperative as they are today. And there is this need for big companies to explain who they are, what they do, and how they contribute to the broader society. So I think those have become challenges that all B2Bs face. So.
When we're trying to measure the performance of our campaigns, we're going to look at a couple of really key factors where we think, here's our marketing goal, here's what we're putting out there, what are we trying to do, and figuring out 1, 2, maybe 3 things. And so instead of looking at 20 different KPIs, we're looking at 3 things that are really impacting our drive towards reaching that goal and measuring those over time. So it's a lot of trying to figure out what really matters, because you can measure anything you want, but unless you're measuring what's really important to accomplishing your goals, then you're kind of wasting your time there.
You know, not every campaign is designed to be measured the same way. So, in some cases, people are always asking when we run some of those great branded videos for Dove or whatever, well, what did that do for sales? And I'm like, you know what, that wasn't necessarily designed to drive sales on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we have a ton of tactics that do that, in-store, promotional stuff. That's designed to actually drive day-to-day, to be able to count and see what's done. Some things are built to drive, what we call brand love, especially in today's social media world. Talk about, share, love, whatever. And so I think there's different measurements for different things.
But imagine if you were sitting next to somebody in a meeting and 10 years ago they were opening physical mail during the meeting. You would think they were basically crazy. Now it's normal to not pay attention. We've changed how we pay attention. And for a marketer, it's not enough to simply show up and have an ad that was viewable. You have to figure out how to actually grab somebody's attention, and that's the key.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does start off with what are the themes that are important to the people you're trying to impact, and data and insights will dictate that, and then a lot of marketing science goes into how do you create content, in this case, video content that tells a great story and is significant to the people, and also eventually comes back to the things that you can help with.
Of, we talk about personalization. It's really a question of, we use this possessive term, but who owns that person? Who owns that audience? If there's an American consumer or a Chinese consumer, Australian consumer, who owns the engagement with that audience? And who makes sure that we're communicating relevant, connected content and assets to those consumers? And what this basically is a way for us on a regular sort of cyclical basis to understand that. And it creates a lot more challenges than existed for us just as recently as 2 years ago.
And anyone in the SEO industry knows that in the last couple of years things have changed massively. And you really need, it's not about keyword research, it's really about understanding the user, how they behave in those different parts of the journey, and making sure the content that you have matches that, and then taking them through to the journey that you want them to do, whether that's a checkout and purchasing, but on an FMCG site, what is the conversion goal? What is the purpose? What do you want them to do? My argument would always be there has to be an end goal, whether it's just engagement or whether it's a purchase, but leading on that journey, holding their hand and understanding that right from that first moment when they search here and they try and match that with what you have on your site. That's so critical.